know where the troops at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag. Hey there, Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns. Just want to comment and say BetOnline is your #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for football, baseball, boxing, golf, and much more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Chief Concerns, your post-game show, and right now we're celebrating a 27-20 win over the Minnesota Vikings at Minnesota and cover the spread. We covered both spreads, actually. We covered the spread that opened up 5.5, and then we covered the spread that it finished at, 3.5 or whatnot. But huge game. Obviously, a lot to talk about. JD will be joining us shortly, and here he is right now. Perfect timing. JD, perfect timing, buddy.
What's up, brother?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Good. How's it going?
27-20 win, JD. We cover both spreads. We cover the spread it opened at 5.5, and we covered the spread that it finished at 3 points or 3.5 points, depending on where you got it. But huge win. I mean, we're talking at the end of this game. It's like, obviously, they have their own questions. The clock management, the whole timeout aspect, that the way they handled the timeouts, that second half was just dreadful. But nonetheless, our defense closed it out in the second half. It helped that Justin Jefferson was off the field, but hey, that's football, right? So obviously, lots to talk about. And the first topic that I want to talk about, the one that kind of was a big thing that's been kind of a common theme going back to last year and talking about the early parts of this year, special teams. You made a big tweet about it during the game, and I thought that was something that needed to be addressed as far as you talk about penalties, and not just special teams alone. We had 10 penalties throughout the game, and when you start to get past the number 5 penalties throughout the game, that's when you know stuff's not, it's not, something's not right. But you got the what do you call it, fair catch interference on special teams. Mm-hmm. Then you got the fake punt, which the crazy thing about that is our defense was in on that play and still couldn't even make the stop there. So JD, what are you seeing when you saw the special teams today? What was your thoughts on that whole thing?
Me being a special teams coach is frustrating, and to me, these are penalties that shouldn't be happening. They shouldn't. You can't be in one phase of your game can't be so bad that it hinders you or puts you in a position. Well, and actually, because of the penalty, because of the first down off the fake punt, it kept them going in that drive to score a touchdown. That's what they ended up doing. And so it kept them in the game. And you don't want to be that part or that element of the team that is, like I said, is the Achilles heel. You just don't want to be. And I'm sitting there just shaking my head. These things shouldn't happen. I mean, it's not. How do you not know just awareness about where the ball is? On the return, it's getting your head up. It's like little things. It's really little things, tedious things that that you should be doing a better job at. And 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, they're gonna go for the fake punt. That's where you play punt safe. You keep the defense in because you're strictly looking to make sure they don't run the fake punt. And lo and behold, they ran it. So to me, man, I absolutely hate it. And I told you I'm gonna go back to drinking. I gave up drinking. I was ready to go pop me a bottle or something. It was ridiculous. I seriously, man, just absolutely infuriated me. Just watching that, man. But seriously, that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel.
Teja, what were your thoughts on it? Because everyone was going nuts about it online. I made a comment about us just not being ready for that, and then someone jumped down or mentions was like, "Oh yeah, well our defense wasn't there, so sometimes teams just play better than you." It's like, well, I mean, 4th and 2, especially when you're in that range, and O'Connell's known for going for it. He's one of those the analytical type guys, where especially you're in that in between range where it's like, you're probably better off going for it. That's just something that, like you said, punt safe. I mean, you know that there's a chance they're going to do that, and obviously teams want to go for a 4th down when they're playing the Chiefs. You kind of have to be involved with that. You kind of have to be. You're gonna have to know what's coming, and now that's a Tobe thing. That's just special teams not being ready, and it's just it's the common thing every week that we're talking something about special teams. Special teams is off here and there. That continues to be a thing. But Teja, what were your thoughts when you saw that?
It's funny. The outside guy had a chance. I forgot. I didn't see who it was. I didn't replay that fake punt. But the outside guy looked like he had a chance, but he was taking such a wide angle trying to get to the actual punt. He had no idea it was even a fake punt. And the runner took was it Powell did that? Who took that?
I think it was Powell. Yeah.
Or Osborne. It might have been Osborne. Yeah. Either way, he took the inside on that. It was easy at that point. So it could have just been a miscue by the player. It might not have been a problem. As far as penalties, it's funny, like in that first half, the positives are we had 10 penalties, 7 were in the first half. So it looked like we got over that and got a little more discipline as the game went on. So that's good. Most of them were in the first half.
And the last one was the offsides at the end. That the 10th one was the offsides that when we didn't run back.
Exactly. So really, well, I was gonna say we had 2 legit ones, but Snead probably should have been called for the helmet.
Ooh, yeah.
So really, we got 3. We got 3 good one way or the other. It was meant to be, I guess you could say. It's funny in that first we got a string. We got 3 penalties in a row. I think we got 3 or 4 on one drive, right? That one defensive drive. I started writing notes to myself. Got to do that during games now. Nerd like that. I said it almost seems like everyone's got such a eagle eye on any call the Chiefs get. It's almost like officials are allowed to make mistakes on every game except when it benefits Kansas City. If it benefits Kansas City, then the NFL is rigged. If they make mistakes on any other game, then NFL just makes mistakes. It happens. People are fallible. But it seems like people go off after the game so much that I just get this sense, at least as a fan, I'm a Kansas City fan, so I'm biased, right? But I always get this sense when I'm watching the next game after a lot of social media talk about how we get so many calls that the refs they swing the pendulum the other way. We get every single call against us for a while until it's did you learn your lesson now? Do you guys believe that the NFL is not rigged anymore since we called a bunch of crappy penalties against the Chiefs for the first half of this game? And then they relaxed again. It's okay, now we could be normal again. It just seems like they pick on us after a big win where there's a controversial play. It's the NFL, man. There are controversial plays all the time. I'm just getting tired of the calls, the makeup calls to make up for a mistake they made last week. Juwan Taylor for the first 4 weeks, what they were doing to him. And I'm tired of the vendettas. At one point I was just and the next penalty was against the Vikings. I was even dude, just play football. My gosh, there's been so many penalties in that game. 14 for the game. It's just too much. That's pretty much my thought on the penalties. I'm just tired of seeing them. I'm tired of the makeup calls. I'm tired of being picked on. I know no one gives a crap because we're the Chiefs, so that's okay.
Shady, 10 penalties. What are your thoughts on overall the officiating of the game? And then what do you think of the call they picked up at the end, which I already saw people going nuts online about how the Chiefs get away with another one?
I mean, I didn't think it was a bad call game at all. I thought they did a pretty decent job officiating the game. I really did. He should have got the 15 yards of taking his helmet off, rightly so. But as far as it being pass interference, absolutely not. Then it was a great call to pick the flag up because there was no way he was going to be able to make a play on that ball. It just wasn't. And so they made a tremendous call on that one. So I don't care if it was the Chiefs. I don't care who it was. If I'm looking at something and I'm being objective, right? I'm not doing it because of the Chiefs, but I know at the end of the game, when you're sitting there, you're watching something like this, when it's a call, if it's over his head, or if it's not a good call. I'll call if I see something on our guys. I'll call them like, oh, that's holding, or like, oh, it's pass interference. I don't mind making that call. I'm not so beholden and loyal to the Chiefs that I'm just going to sit there and just say, oh no, man, absolutely not. So I think that was the right call at the end. I think the refs did a great job as far as calling this game. I don't think they did anything as far as coming in to make a decision toward the end, to determine what the outcome was going to be. So I didn't have any problem with it, man. I didn't have any problem with it whatsoever. I'll tell you what, though. Let me say this, because I know sometimes we kind of went into and talking. At least I seen online that some people just didn't really like some of the play calling. I thought Spags and Andy, they called it a brilliant game. I think they did. As far as balance wise, we was tweeting about bringing the pressure toward the end, which I think that we should have done, and we did. Which made the Aaron throw like it should have, right? And I think we should have did that on the fourth down play before they scored a touchdown. I think it was like 4th and 2. We didn't or 4th and I forgot what it was, but it was a 4th down play. We should have brought it before they had scored the last touchdown.
JD, talking about just the penalty aspect, not if the officiating was good or not. And I think some of those calls on that one drive, first half, where there was like 3 in a row or whatnot, some of those were legit. I think they were all legit, really. But looking at Andy Reid's team during the Chief years, we haven't really seen a team that gets penalized as much as this team does. And is this a lack of discipline? I mean, what is this? Because this is usually when you see a lot of penalties for a team, these usually are teams that don't make the playoffs. It's unusual for a successful team to get as many penalties as we've been seeing recently. Does that kind of scare you, concern you in a way that we are seeing a lot of penalties?
No, I think because of the amount that we've seen early in the year, the first few games, I think it's kind of magnified more so than anything else, because we had Jawan Taylor, who was making, getting a lot of the penalties called because of his alignment and whatnot. That was a problem. Today, I think some of it was just boneheaded. Some of the stuff that was just kind of stupid, hands to the face, different things like that of that nature. But I don't really see anything as far as it being undisciplined. Guys get that corrected, but you just know you just in certain situations you can't make boneheaded calls and different plays like that. And so, it hadn't been, like I said, Jawan Taylor, he fixed his stuff. So now if you had to go back to somebody else saying, well, look, this guy's getting too many calls, then you know how to correct that as well. And he'll do a good job with that.
Yeah. So obviously we talked about last week the receivers, and this week we did a good job of getting our guys involved. Obviously, I'll name one guy, Justin Ross, a guy I've been barking for pretty much all offseason, JD. I think you get annoyed sometimes how much I bring up Justin Ross, so I try to sneak him into a topic. But hey, he came out, had that one great grab, had 2 drops, but he came in and looked great. 10 different guys caught a pass today. I just think that's amazing how we're spreading it around and just look like everyone, we're just getting everybody involved. And I love that Ross getting it. Watson had an amazing grab, which probably the catch of the year so far in Kansas City, at least from our plays and stuff. But what do you make of what you saw from the pass catch today? They've been under the microscope. Everyone's saying, "Oh, the Chiefs are." And let's take a pause on the Chiefs. They don't have a receiver over there, and it showed today that we have the depth in the room, and showed everyone stepped up today. A few drops here and there, but for the most part, what did you think of what you saw from the wide receiver group?
I think they did a great job. I think the young guys came in and stepped up like they should have. I think they kind of came in. Justin Ross. I mean, what about that guy coming in and make a catch up top? You're talking about his length and his athletic ability, and then all of a sudden he displays it. It's like, well, how come we haven't been doing this before? That's the question. And then obviously, Rashid Rice making the touchdown and him able to body people up. To me, that's exactly what you're looking for to guys make plays. Those are playmakers. And so, yeah, you know what? In the game, there's going to be drops. I mean, Justin Jefferson has several of them today. So the thing is, drops occur in every series of the game. It doesn't matter. But as far as their play, I think they did a pretty good job stepping up. And the thing was, because we didn't quite know what they were going to get, because everybody was worried about Kelce coming back. Was he not going to be able to come back? They didn't quite know. But I think I put a tweet out there. It's like, okay, everybody just refocus. That's what it's all about. But I think a lot of it had to do with also, too, Patrick Mahomes playing a much better job today. He had a much better game. He took what the defense gave him. He checked the ball down, threw the ball, got out of his hands quick. He did a much better job. And so what that does, it creates opportunities. It gets like the fast, quick game going. So that's all you ask. That's all you ask. Every time you're looking to throw something down the field, where these guys are still learning how to work in zone against man and get open to uncover, you can see the difference between Travis Kelce, how he handles it, and the younger guys. It's night and day. It's night and day. But because Travis has been playing with Patrick for so long, they're on the same page and wavelength. These younger guys are going to take some time to get there when it's, down the field, extending with your legs, now getting open. Because still doesn't quite understand. We've seen that with MVS. MVS has only been there for 2 years. Stops running in the end zone, right, for the one ball. And Patrick's sitting there like, dude, it's a touchdown to you. Why would you stop running? And he really didn't say anything, but you can see the frustration in his eyes.
Yep. We have a question here before we get to you, Teja. There's a question here from our guy ARG and KC. Also, Micah, I know you were loving that Justin Ross stuff. One of our biggest Justin Ross guys on our channel. But JD, great question here. Are we spreading more because Mahomes played better today, or were the wide receivers getting open? Did you see more separation more than you had in the last few weeks?
No, just like I said, man, I think it's a little bit of both, but it was definitely because Mahomes was playing better. He was spreading it out more because he was doing a much better job taking what the defense was giving him. And so when you make decisive decisions about what it is that you want to do with the football, get the ball out your hands quick, then it makes everything easier. It makes everything look clean. It makes it look the eyes like they're open, right? Because they are initially from the very start, but Patrick's got to be the one to facilitate that. He's got to make the throws.
Yeah. Teja, I know draft show, pre-draft, talking with you. You were the biggest Rashee Rice guy. You told me about him. And I'm the college football guy between both of us, but you were all over Rashee Rice. And I was like, who's this Rashee Rice guy? You're like, dude, we got to get him. And then we draft him, and look, I'm sure you're loving it. But what did you think of spreading the ball around the way we have, and what did you make of some of the young guys stepping up today?
Before I get to the spreading around, we have to give credit to someone that's gotten a lot of crap from Kansas City media, certain Kansas City media, and even us on the show. It's Justin Watson. More than half the games, he's had like a big, maybe the biggest receiving play of the game.
Yeah.
And it happened again. Like, that was a huge bailout. He's had a lot of bailout catches this season. I think we'd be slaying him if he was playing like shit. So I want to give him credit that he's, hitting it. He was, I see the catch, then I see that's him. I mean, to be honest, I'm not always. I'm excited. I'd be way more excited if it were like obviously Ross making that catch. But I'm like, you know what? Get it, Watson. Like, I don't give a crap who catches it. 85, 8, 6. I don't care who it is, man. Make the catch. So I'm like, yeah, dude. I mean, hey, they keep putting him out there for a reason. He probably does this in practice all the time. Like, he does it in games too. He's a gamer, man. I got to hand it to him. He's all effort, and he hits it. More notes I was taking during the game was just I think we just have to get used to it. It might take us longer because we were so spoiled by Tyreek Hill's individual output and statistics, watching that for years. We just have to get used to not having a guy at receiver. I'm starting to get more used to it. I look at the box score. I don't see a 7 catch or 160-yard guy anymore. And that's fine. Like, I'm okay with that. Now the upsides are, and JD, correct me if I'm wrong, the main upside would be it's advantageous over the defense because the defense doesn't know who to zero in on. They don't know who's going to be our target. Who do we game plan for the most? Who's going to be the guy this week? I think you have to Sky Moore, you have to Rashee Rice. The disadvantage, I guess, would be when you're trying to bring along so many young guys, I think it'll just take longer to bring them all up to speed. Like, they keep saying, wait till Rice gets up to speed. But the thing is, like, Rice is not a normal situation where Rice is on a really bad team getting funneled targets by his rookie quarterback. You know what I mean? Like Tank Dell, for instance. Tank Dell is getting fed targets. He's going to be brought along faster. If Rice gets like 4 targets and 3 catches a game, sure, it's encouraging, but it's going to take him a lot longer to be to come up because he's not being relied upon. And that's fair. I like that for him to a certain degree because then he doesn't feel like he has to be our savior or be our hill. there's a bunch of guys here who are high picks. Why do I have to be the next guy, right? So there's good and bad to it. Now, if Kelce were to miss time, or if he ever gets injured, and we've brushed by that twice at this point, then we might see more of an uptick in a certain guy asserting himself and being that guy, right? But as it stands right now, we just have a lot of guys. Next time I'm in Vegas, I've looked in sports books. I can't find this anywhere. But next time I'm in Vegas, I'm going to look and see if there's a bet where you can take like 5 guys to catch like 2 balls. Because I would love to do that with our team, because we have so many guys that catch a couple balls, and it's awesome. And they're very bankable guys. But yeah, it's not as fun when you want a guy to blow up. But I like the overall anyone can do it at any time thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you have things like that, that's why I wasn't really worried about when Kelce was supposedly not going to be able to come back, is because we do have capable guys. And I'm a huge Tank Dell guy. I was one Tank Dell coming out. I really was. He fits our scheme. He's exactly what we need in our offense. And that's why Rashid Rice to me is a bigger receiver. And I'm just like, okay, are we going to utilize a big body like this, a guy that has this type of skill set? And so what I do like about it is when a guy like this keeps showing up, then you do feed him, then you reward him. It's the same thing with Justin Watson. He's making big plays, man. He's balling out of control, man. I stood up I got up as soon as he made that call. I said, man, somebody decided to come out here to play today. And Justin Watson said, why not be me? So the reason he's getting the plays is because he's consistent in some of the things that he does. They trust him. And that's how it is. It works with Andy and all the coaching staff. Is they're going to let guys play that they trust, that they feel like is consistent. And so Justin Watson, people love him or hate him. I don't care how it is. If the guy's out there making plays, attaboy to me, right? Yeah. Pure and simple. So look, I'm always rooting for everybody who's out there on the squad. I don't care if you're the first or the 8th guy or the 7th receiver. That's how we have, right? I don't care who it is, because we learned this from last year. And like you said, just because we don't have Tyreek Hill and because of his volume, we seen what it was going to look like last year when he had MVS and Juju and all those different guys, and he was going to pepper around to different people. And so the thing is, really, it's all about PM15. That's what it's all about. Guys just had to get open. They had to just do their job and let 15 get the ball to you. That's what it's all about to me. And Noah Gray comes in, he does a great job. He'll run certain routes, that Kelce is going to be able to do. But we know Kelce and PM15 have a very special rapport. But the thing is, PM15 could get those guys better by the things that he does with his legs and with his arms. That one throw to Rashid Rice was on point. It was perfect. It was like a perfect ball. I remember they did the replay. I'm like, man, can you get a prettier ball than that? I mean, the one he threw to Justin Ross, same one. It's just right there in the chest. It's like, dude, just catch the football. That's all you had to do. Pat's going to give you something that you can catch. You just have to be able to do it. Just keep performing. But
I love that fake screen where he kind of did a fake to Kelce and then looked off, and then him and Kelce ran together. That was like my favorite play of the day, I think.
That was sweet.
That was so great.
And them two right there, just making a play, man. They're making a play. So that to me is what what brings so much to the table when Kelce is in there, right? And not only that, because I want to bring this point up too, because his presence alone coming back at halftime, where guys have seen him, and I'm just telling you from a player standpoint, when you have your guy, your baller that everybody looks to lead, to make plays, it's important for those young guys to see that guy make that type of sacrifice that he made, right? Getting hurt and coming back in. And everybody's not sitting there saying, man, he's a tough son of a gun. Why am I not doing that? How come I'm not doing my job? Then I don't know what else it's going to take to get guys going. I just don't. Because him alone, just being on the sidelines, even thinking about he's coming in, like guys in their mind, they're thinking like, this is the warrior that everybody's been looking for, that we got to get his back. We have got to be that guy. We have to. We got to pull our own weight. That was so vital at halftime when them coming out at the half. Because I'm going to be honest with you, man. If Travis Kelce doesn't come back out there, he doesn't show up, I don't know if we win this game or not, to be honest with you. I mean, the morale of what that shows and what it signifies It's huge. I'm telling you, man. Just for a player standpoint, it is absolutely huge.
That's what they mean when they say 70 or 80% of some guys are better than 100% of other guys.
Yeah, that's part of it. Absolutely. No doubt about
Do you think, obviously, he was, they show the clips of him trying to run back on the field and like, no, come back over here. Do you think they made it a point to pepper him with targets second half? I mean, right away, he came back in the game. It was target. The game, he led the team in catches and targets today. I mean, he usually does. But, like, it felt like there was more of, like, an emphasis, like, yo, we're going to get Kelce the ball. Whereas in the first 4 games of the season, you hadn't really seen a big-time emphasis on get Kelce the ball. It seemed like when he came back from that the second half, they just were force-feeding him the ball, JD.
Well, you can't pretend that he's okay if you don't show it. And so him coming out, running on the sideline, running out there like he did, okay, fine. If you're okay, we're gonna just make sure let you get your legs back where you need to, right? Let's let the medicine work the way it should, okay? Let that all happen the way it should. All right, get back out here. Let's throw the football to you. So I'm sure maybe the vitamin T might have got, I don't know, might have had a shaman in there doing a Mr. Miyagi on the rep, leg or something, man. But whatever it was, you got to make sure you do get him involved, because it shows the defense too that you didn't destroy this guy. He looked like he was hurt. Hey, guess what? He came back. Justin Jefferson didn't. You see what he did to them too, right? I mean, they were like, oh, okay, well, shoot, now we got to rely on these guys, right? And rightfully so, man. It just, when your star is out of the game, man, that is tough. That is tough just to hurt your confidence. When you see that, think about it. How many movies do we see, okay, that the old warrior, the hero, and you think he's dead, right? And he's just hurt. And all of a sudden you see him stand up on his sword. And you just know, like, this sucker's giving everything, okay? And all he does is he just motivates everybody else to come out there and just give it their all. I mean, that's what it was for today, Travis Kelce. That's what he's bringing to the team. That's what he's showing these young guys, how to be a professional, what it means to play when you're hurt. All those good things, man. That's what football's all about. Football's all about that. I just, I kind of thought it was funny because when I heard the commentator say certain things like that, I'm like, dude, there's plenty of guys that do that. And I don't know if the young dudes do that, but in my day and age, guys are going to have with broken legs and stuff like that. It didn't matter. So those are the guys that are that you talk of old. That's guys that you have stories about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So bravo.
It reminded me of JD. You talk about like old movies and stuff. Kurt Russell, Best of Times. Remember, they're getting they redo the state championship game. They're getting their asses kicked in the first half of the game. Then second half comes. He hasn't come out for a while. Then he comes out with the old white cleats that he used to have on back in his prime. They come out and they end up winning the game. That was Kelce coming back out with the tape with his ankle all spattered up.
Yeah.
A couple of thoughts on what you said too. They need to do something about that turf, because I mean, I don't know how Jefferson's gone this long without having that same injury. 2 in 1 game, very similar of like the same type of ankle, like little ankle clip like that. Dangerous. It shows how tough he is. My other thought was, it was nice. I mean, as a Vikings fan, I'd be happy about the way Addison and Osborne stepped up in his absence, and even for a little bit, Hawkins was out too. Again, it goes back to, in a situation where your main target hog is out, your other guys, got to start to learn how to become, step up and take some more responsibility. It's like giving your kid allowance, right? You give your kid allowance, or you're supposed to, right? I'm not a parent. JD, you are. So you can tell me, when you start giving your kid allowance, it's to teach him some responsibility with money, and teach him how to budget. But they're not going to do much with $1. You give them a quarter, how are they going to budget that? You have to give them something that's worth budgeting, right? So they can't do much with 2 targets a game. You have to get like 5 or 6 a game. Then they can do something with it. You're like, okay, now he deserves more. Now let's give him like $20 a month. Well, let's give him like, $100 a month. No, not really, but that's too much.
Well, the difference is because, when Addison, in his draft pick where he was at, we know he's a pretty good receiver. We know he's a good receiver. And so, to me, it makes sense that you was going to pepper him. When I'm looking at the targets, the first few games, he had 6 the first 5, 8 1 and did 9 tonight. So that's not uncommon for a guy who's a first-round pick as a wide receiver. He was probably one of the best ones in the business, right? So at least coming out of college, he was. So, but yeah, no, it's good to know that you do have guys that can fill in when your star is down, right? So, but yeah, but they still them suckers are still 1-4. So I know you say bravo. Them suckers is that they gonna have to find something. They gonna have to find something to hang on to right now, man. Because it's looking mighty bleak up there in Minnesota. Mighty bleak.
Hey, if the Jets keep winning, you might see the Kirk Cousins rumors still that they're still floating out there. If the Jets keep winning, they're in contention. And I don't believe this whole Aaron Rodgers is going to come back from the Achilles injury. He's going to be the first person to come back in a couple months from an Achilles injury. No. But, I mean, Kirk Cousins could be something if they continue to lose and Jets continue to win. But talking about the targets, just looking at it again and the catches, this will be the 5th game of the season where MVS had 2 catches or less. He had 1 catch for 12 yards in this one. Sky Moore 2 for 11. Combining for 3 for 23, where our young bucks, Rice and Ross, combined for 6 for 61. And these are guys, Rice and Ross, obviously their first years of getting actually game time action. One's a rookie, one's a second-year guy. But JD saw some people, because there is an anti-Justin Ross sentiment online. I know people shouldn't be rooting against players, especially on our team, but there is an anti-Ross sentiment. I think I saw someone say drop 2 targets. He's gonna be in Andy's doghouse. He's gonna be on the sidelines. We probably won't be seeing much of him next week. What do you think about that, JD? We talk about having grace for some of these young guys who are starting to get their bearings in the league. But what do you make when you hear that kind of stuff?
Man, people will fight and scratch and crawl for everything to be right. That's all that is. That's it. You want to be right on the guy, okay? And they will defend it till they're deaf. And nobody's going to be like, yeah, you know why I was wrong. There ain't a whole lot of people in the world that's going to be able to do that, especially now. They don't want to admit those things, right? So, look, like you said, you're supposed to root a guy on because he plays for the Chiefs. I don't care if you did drop 2. The guy came in and performed today. And if you want to get on some people, you could talk about, MVS and all those other things if you want to. But to be honest with you, I always want to encourage. Like, I want to encourage MVS, dude, like, you got to do a much better job, period, okay? Young guys like Ross and Rice, those guys, I'm expecting mistakes. I'm expecting them to still grow. That's part of the whole process, right? And so I don't worry about that, man. People going to have something to say regardless. It don't matter. It's always like that.
There's nobody in the room that's going to in our receiver room is going to high point a ball the way Justin Ross did. I mean, that's one of the specialties. He brings something that other guys in the room don't have, and that's that catch is so pretty. We have a question here from Douglas Stockwell, just talking about offensive weapons. Thoughts on Pacheco continuously underused or given the right amount of snaps? It felt like we went to him a lot in the first quarter specifically, then kind of went away from Pacheco. What did you think of the usage today, guys?
I mean,
I'm going to say one thing before you go, JD. Yards per carry, that's one of his worst games for having such a large, because usually when he gets going, he's even better. For double-digit carries, 16 for 55 is one of his yards per carry wise, one of his worst games. Go ahead, JD.
All I was going to say is I think he got a good share of what he should have done. He's still not strong in pass blocking. That is his weak point. We've seen that. It was one of the ones where Patrick got kind of sandwiched in between the guys. He's just not where he's just not setting his feet. But I think he got some good, he got some good looks. I think it was a good balance today with him. Because what you never had before was really almost a 4-minute back where you can actually hand the ball out to him and him actually getting yards. And that's what is so promising seeing him do, is actually getting the 2, the 3, the 4 hard yards, right? We didn't have that before. We couldn't see a guy back there doing things like that. It was one hit going down or just getting in the pound and it was wrapped up. So it's always good because you can see the balance. You can see, how he just, the fierceness he's just fighting with it. He's playing with, that the play's not over. And it helps linemen because linemen come in and you get to absolutely undress defensive players standing around the pack. I see Donovan Smith come in and hit somebody today. I was like, oh my gosh, I know it hurt. I have no idea. You know, I mean, he hit the dude so hard. The guy just laid on the ground, looked at him like, man, like, did you really have to hit me like that?
Donovan and Trey are the best at nailing a pile.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I love it. I absolutely love it. You never want to be on the receiving end, man. But I mean, if you're able to give it out, oh man, that's one of the best feelings ever.
Feels good.
It's funny too. 16 for 55 for Pacheco. Watching the game, I thought he had a better game than he actually did statistically. I was actually surprised he only ended up with 16 for 55. I thought he had more than that. Just by watching the game and not looking at his stats.
But you know, it felt like it because of the tough yards, right? It felt like because turning his legs, and I mean, he was going. These are hard 55 yards right here.
It was. His longest was 11. So like he was hitting them up. It wasn't like he had like a 30-yarder and then the rest of the game was like ones and twos. It was like 3, 3, 3, 3, 5, 11, 3, 3.
Right. That 11 yards was the Wildcat play too.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
He's still getting there. He's almost there where he has so much patience now. You can see the difference between his patience now.
Yeah.
It was last year. And then there's sometimes he's like, and he's just doing this like, okay, man, just bring it down a little bit. Okay. Breathe. All right, now go back out there, right? Mm-hmm. So now, man, I just love the juice, man. Whatever he's got, man, he need to give that around the locker room. That's what he needs to do. Shoot.
Just drinking that pre-workout before the games. Take a double scoopage.
To help him pass block better. They tell him, just imagine you have the ball in your hands because he runs so hard. Just be like, pass block like you have the ball in your hands, dude. All right.
Hit him right in his chest if you need to. Yeah.
I like the distribution, though. I like the Pacheco doing most of the running, and then McKinnon seemed to be a little more involved than usual. So I like the McKinnon third downs, and then Pacheco most of the downs, and then I'd say it again, then CEH for the mediocrity for the other fillers.
Man, look,
we need a better second option. It's becoming more obvious, and I used to be a big CEH guy or defender.
Yeah,
it's coming to the point where even for 4 carries a game, we need to just not have like 1 yard on each one of those.
Yeah, I see, man. I'm not so down on CEH like some people are. I'm just not, and the reason is because he is taking some of the hits off Pacheco. Right, he's a good change of pace. He'll get 3 or 4 yards. He'll skirt like a little, here and there on some things. But it's just, I think because when he comes in, he's so underwhelming at times because of some. And look, man. I'm looking at the blocking scheme. It's not the greatest of blocks when he comes in either. Okay, yes. I'm just being honest with you. Because I see some. I don't want to name some names, but I see some guys like, dude, what are you doing? You're not even giving enough effort like you should. Okay. But I ain't going to do that. I ain't going to call nobody's name out. I seen this dude a couple of some really, I'm like, what's going on?
You have to call that out in the grading show.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Yep.
We'll preview.
Yeah. Nice little plug. Tomorrow, of course, on Bleacher Report, 2 p.m. You can find JD and I doing Monday morning tight end in the afternoon where JD breaks down all the position groups for the game today. But so last topic before we head out of here, I know everyone wants to go jump to watch that Cowboys-Niners game, probably the game of the day as far as NFC-wise. Travis Kelce, obviously, warrior. You kind of mentioned it already, JD. Coming out second half, that does wonders for the team aspect and obviously just playing through that. Obviously, everyone online was talking, it's Achilles, it's ACL, broken ankle. There's a lot of stuff. Everyone was obviously scared and nervous. I was nervous as hell, but when he came out like Kurt Russell in best of times, second half coming out, running, doing laps on the sidelines. Very happy about that. But high ankle sprain. So 2 things, obviously. One, the obvious. What's wrong with our locker rooms and our star players getting high ankle sprains? Mahomes and Kelce. What's Burkholder doing over there? Secondly, we play short week. Play on Thursday. He came in and played, but you have the adrenaline pumping. You already got your cleats on. You're not taking that off, and who knows the swelling of what that's going to be tomorrow. And obviously, high ankle sprains, they can range for how severe it is.
Right. Thursday game.
Do we see Travis Kelce? And is there a risk that we might not even see him Thursday since it's such a short week?
It's a possibility. It just depends on how the swelling what the swelling looks like. And you're going against the donkeys, little that you have to see. These guys are floundering. They trying to find themselves. But you give him rest. So now you immediately ice and all those different things, and you work on it now as much as possible. Monday rest, Tuesday rest. Wednesday is just a short walkthrough. You don't need to practice Travis Kelce. All you need to know is on the sideline how he's feeling. That's it. Are you good to go? And so you might get a little work in, and he looks like he's able to come in and actually play. I don't know, maybe half the games, half the snaps. So be it. But if it seems like it's something that you don't want to linger, that it get worse, then you set him down.
Teja, thoughts on Kelce's injury? If he was up to you, would you want him to play or would you want him to sit it out? Also, just want to throw this out there. Line opened up.
He's keeping us in suspense with his line.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, okay.
We'll never know what the line is. That's it. It was the famous last words, JD. It wasn't me. It was the CIA. Well, I'll continue on, I guess, with the answer of that. What are the lines?
Sorry, guys. My internet, I guess, went spotty.
That's cool.
10.5 point favorite.
Okay. Well, based on that, it shouldn't be a very hard game. But they have played us tough. We can't sleep on them because we just can't do that in the NFL. Period. That's all. It's so hard to be able to say that because it really depends on what they feel like the long-term ramifications could be for playing on it. If there's a lot of swelling, which I'm sure there will be, I would not want to risk it. I think it's a short week, but nothing's going to be shorter than how long, where we found out last time he couldn't play against the Lions. Was it the day before, pretty much, the last practice? So it's more time than we had in that game. So hopefully we'll be able to prepare a little better. And even though it wasn't that long ago, Rice and Ross, game to game, 5 weeks of NFL practice is a big deal. So I would not be opposed to sitting him. I don't think it's that crazy. I think it's okay to rely on some other guys to step up. Like I said before, up their allowance a little bit, see how they spend that money. So I'm not against it at all. It's a long season, man. I know people think of it as an 18-week season, but it's not for us. It's like a 22 to 23 game season. So,
right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hopefully we'll see what happens on throughout this week. Everyone's gonna be monitoring this. Thing with Mahomes when he had his high ankle sprain, that was a Saturday where he got injured, and then we didn't play again until Sunday. So he had a 8 days where we don't have that with Kelce, and meaningless or not meaningless, but week 6 regular season game against a team that's floundering.
Is that the official diagnosis?
That's what Jordan Schultz had tweeted online during the game. That's what the team
during the game. Okay.
Yeah. We'll find out more, obviously.
We'll do some more we'll find out more, and we'll do some more tests on that. That's interesting. That's what it was. It seemed very, very low on that leg. So, yeah.
As long as it wouldn't, I don't think, if it was anything about like maybe the Achilles or if it was like maybe a broken bone or something, they wouldn't have brought it back yet.
Oh, yeah.
High ankle sprain is probably, that's probably what it is. And like you said, it's going to be based off the severity of it. So if it's something that's mild, what do you do? Because you get the rest after that. But like you said, man, we played Detroit, without him. I think Detroit's a much better team than the Broncos. And we know we're gonna get their best. They're trying to figure it out too. So,
yeah, no, agreed.
3 AFC West games in a row coming up.
Yep, and 3 of the I think I saw a report earlier that the defenses we're playing are probably amongst the worst pass defenses in the league of the next 3 matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Well, Broncos twice. That's cheating.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we thank everyone for tuning in and being engaged with the podcast tonight and the live stream. We love you guys. And so tomorrow, so we have a weird schedule this week. Obviously, it's a short week. So JD and I are gonna hammer out the Monday morning grade show tomorrow at 2:00 on Bleacher Report. and then we're gonna figure out our midweek show, and then there won't be a post-game show directly after the game on Thursday. It'll be Friday morning. That's going to be our post-game show, and that'll be on Bleacher Report. But obviously, we'll post all that stuff on Twitter so you guys can be up to speed with everything that's going on with the show. So thank you guys for tuning in, and hope you guys have a good rest of your Sunday. Gentlemen, love you, fellas.
Hi, fellas.
Later on, guys.
That'd be good.
See you guys. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.